Admiral Zexathara's tentacles coiled with satisfaction as she reviewed the tactical display aboard her flagship, Inevitable Dominion. The holographic projection showed Sector 7 Alpha in pristine detail, 17 star systems, 43 habitable, worlds all marked in the reassuring blue of complete hegemony control. "Status report," she commanded, her translator converting her bioelectric pulses into standard galactic. "All quiet, Admiral," reported Commander Vorth, his crystalline carapace gleaming under the bridge lights. "The last human resistance cell was eliminated 3 cycles ago. Sector 7 Alpha is completely pacified." Zexathara's satisfaction deepened. The humans had been troublesome, more so than any species the hegemony had encountered in their 2,000-year expansion. But even they had limits. Even they could be broken. "Excellent. Signal High Command that Sector 7 Alpha is ready for full colonization. The mining operations can..." The communications array erupted in a cascade of alerts. Warning lights bathed the bridge in crimson as sensor contacts materialized across the tactical display, like an infection spreading through healthy tissue. "Report." Zexathara's bioluminescent patches flared with alarm. "Admiral, we're detecting massive gravitic disturbances throughout the sector." Vorth's voice carried an edge of disbelief. 18, no, 27. "Admiral, I'm reading over 40 distinct signatures." The tactical display transformed before their eyes. Blue markers flickered and died, replaced by hostile red contacts emerging from what should have been empty space. But these weren't ships, at least not ships as the hegemony understood them. "What in the void are those?" whispered Science Officer Keth, her compound eyes wide with terror. The largest signature resolved into visual range first. What they saw defied comprehension. It was a hegemony mining station, but wrong. The smooth, organic curves of traditional construction had been replaced by angular brutalism. Weapon emplacements bristled from every surface like metallic thorns. The station's bioluminescent guidance systems had been ripped out and replaced with harsh white lights that cut through space like searchlights. "That's Mining Station Epsilon 7, Vorth said, his voice hollow. "We built it 6 months ago." More, contacts resolved. A patrol frigate hung in space, its hull welded with armor plating that turned it from a graceful exploration vessel into a predatory nightmare. Asteroids had been carved hollow and fitted with massive engines, transforming them into mobile fortresses. Even the orbital habitats showed the same brutal modifications, elegant living spaces converted into weapons platforms. "How?" Zexathara demanded. "We controlled this sector completely. Every human settlement was destroyed. Every resistance fighter eliminated." Her answer came in the form of a transmission that cut through their encrypted channels like a blade through silk. A human face appeared on their screens, scarred, grizzled, with eyes that burned with an intensity that made Zexathara's chromatophores recoil involuntarily. "Admiral," the human said, his voice carrying a casual confidence that sent ice through alien bloodstreams across the bridge. "Thanks for the real estate, we've made some improvements." "Impossible," Zexathara breathed. "You're dead. All of you." The human's smile was a predator's expression. "That's the thing about humans, Admiral. We're really hard to kill completely. And when you think you've won, that's when we get creative." The tactical display showed the scope of human creativity. Every piece of hegemony infrastructure in the sector had been subverted, modified, weaponized. They hadn't built a fleet. They had turned the entire sector into a weapon. "You see, you made a classic mistake," the human continued. "You thought controlling the surface meant controlling everything. But humans, we're diggers, miners. We go deep. While your forces were patrolling the space lanes, we were in the asteroids, the moon cores, the planetary mantles. We weren't hiding. We were preparing." As if summoned by his words, the asteroids around them began to move. Not random drift, but coordinated repositioning. The humans had built thruster arrays into dozens of space rocks, turning the asteroid belt into a mobile artillery formation. "Every mining station you built, we studied. Every patrol route you established, we mapped. Every weakness in your technology, we cataloged. The human's grin widened. Did you know your bioneural networks are vulnerable to specific electromagnetic frequencies? We figured that out about 3 months ago. Across the bridge, hegemony officers clutched their heads as feedback screamed through their neural implants. The ship's organic computer systems began to convulse and die. You wanted this sector secure, the human said as Zexathera watched her fleet's formation dissolve into chaos. Congratulations, it's the most secure place in the galaxy. For humans. The first asteroid fortress opened fire, its repurposed mining lasers cutting through a hegemony destroyer's shields like tissue paper. The converted space station's weapons followed suit, unleashing a storm of projectiles that had once been ore processing equipment. Zexathara watched her perfect controlled sector transform into a killing field. The humans hadn't just survived their genocide, they had used it. Every destroyed settlement had been strip-mined for resources. Every eliminated resistance fighter had been replaced by 10 more who learned from their predecessor's death. You see, Admiral, the human's voice cut through the chaos as hegemony ships burned around them. You can't secure a sector against humans. You can only secure it for humans. Thanks for the lesson, and the battleground. The transmission cut out just as the inevitable Dominion shuddered under the impact of what had once been a communications satellite. Zexathara's last coherent thought before the emergency evacuation pods launched was a grudging realization. The humans hadn't lost Sector 7 Alpha. They had inherited it, and they had made it their own.